Anyway, here with reaction to all of that is the co-host of the hit show The Five, our friend Judge Jeanine Pirro is with us. Judge, I think we're now seeing some cracks. And I thought the canary in the coal mine, at least the first one, was Maureen Dowd taking Joe Biden to task for not recognizing his 4-year-old granddaughter in Arkansas. Just cold, you know, frankly, heartless and soulless. The next crack that I saw was last weekend, and that's when articles appeared in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Politico, all beginning to now go to territory that we've been covering about Joe and Hunter Biden and these bribery and money laundering allegations. Now Van Jones is saying out loud what a lot of Democrats have told people like us privately. Yeah, we know he's a cognitive mess, but we're going to try and hide it from y'all or hide it from the country. What do you think?
Well, I think a couple of things. I think that there's no question that Van Jones is right, that the Democrats are hiding, as he says, behind their hands when they talk about Joe Biden. But look, the guy is in cognitive decline. Who in their right mind, in response to the question, what do you have to say about the rising death toll in Maui, where it was an inferno? People were literally incinerated, and he says no comment. Look, that says it all. The man is not capable of being president. The question that I have, Sean, is whether or not that they have held it together this long so that all of a sudden they can bring somebody out that has already been preordained, where they don't really battle it out in the Democratic Party, but just say this is our guy to run against whomever, you know, whatever Republican there is, presumably Donald Trump. But I think that what you talk about with CNN and Van Jones talking about his cognitive decline, there is no question the man is not capable of being president. Can you imagine what Putin did this week? Can you imagine Putin, his engaging in a real conversation with Vladimir Putin? I don't think Joe Biden comes out on top, or, with Xi Jinping. But then when we've got this whole thing going on with Hunter Biden, his son, they bring a racketeering charge against Donald Trump and 18 other people. The racketeering statute should be used against Joe Biden, his son, and the Biden crime family. Everything is upside down, and Americans feel it instinctively. They feel the injustice. Americans are not used to this, and I think that they are sensing in their polling that the weaponization of the justice system by one candidate for president against another candidate for president is beyond the pale, and I think that the numbers that Donald Trump is holding is indicative of that.
Okay, so if we're talking about tonight the weaponization of justice, when you compare and contrast the issue of Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, top secret, classified documents, how law enforcement handled their cases versus the raid at Mar-a-Lago, the charges brought against Donald Trump, it's a two-tier justice system. You don't have to be brilliant to figure that out.
Sure.
If Donald Trump had leveraged $1 billion against his own administration's policies to get a prosecutor fired in Ukraine in 6 hours so his son would continue to get paid for something he was not qualified for by his own admission. Well, if that was Donald Trump Jr., if that was Eric Trump or any Trump, you think they'd get away with that? You think the media would try to have a blackout on that?
There's no question that they would go after Donald Trump, and Don Jr. or anybody else that was involved. Look, the truth is that Joe Biden is on tape in January of 2016 saying, if you don't get rid of the prosecutor on Burisma, where my son is on the board, you're not going to get $1 billion of our money, Sean. This is our taxpayers' money. He is leveraging that against a prosecutor. I'm going to ask you a question, Sean. When is the last time you heard Joe Biden go after any prosecutor in the United States? Ever. When have you ever heard him talk about any prosecutor? Nobody's prosecuting crime with the progressive DAs. He could care less. He only cares where his son is getting money. And let me continue with that just for a second. When Joe Biden and the Democrat Party, you've got Victoria Nuland, you've got John Kerry saying, we're thrilled with what's going on over there in Ukraine. And then all of a sudden, Joe Biden decides he's going to focus on this prosecutor because he wants to bring down the corruption in the Burisma company. Yeah. And now we've got a prosecutor who's a friend with Beau Biden, who is hesitant to indict Hunter Biden, but for whistleblowers who had everything to lose and nothing to gain. This is a corrupt criminal justice system and Department of Justice.
So you have Hunter benefiting, and according to James Comer, a total of 9 Biden family members implicate benefiting financially from this. All these shell corporations. And I'm looking at this, Judge, and I'm thinking, hold on a second. None of them are qualified. What did the grandchildren do to make that money? I'd really like to know. Hopefully one day we'll find out. What did Hunter do except maybe put, when Burisma needed D.C. help, he got them in touch with Joe Biden 5 days before he did leverage that money when he was in Dubai with Burisma executives. I look at all of this, and now we know from Hunter Biden's laptop from hell that Joe Biden, he implicates his own father benefiting financially through paying for home repairs, et cetera.
It's all there, Sean. There's circumstantial evidence. There's direct evidence. There's emails. There's admissions. There's photographs. There's bank records. There's all kinds of shell corporations, 20 shell corporations. Well, this is corrupt as the day is long, and it is really a sad commentary. But you know what? The chickens are coming home to roost. It's not going to last that much longer.
The walls are caving in, and I think enough Democrats privately probably don't want him as the nominee.
Nope.
In the bullpen, watch out for Gavin Newsom. That's my warning.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Have a great weekend, Judge. We appreciate you being with us. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.